Pulitzer Prize is the pinnacle of American journalism. We take you back, I guess it was an afternoon in April 2010, to the newsroom of the Philadelphia Daily News. This is from the film Black and White and Dead All Over.
The cheer went up. I said, I'll be goddamn, we did win.
I tell you what happened.
Michael Days had bought and hidden some champagne just in case. Being the Daily News, we had no cups.
Well, that must have been a moment.
Oh, it was a moment that I'll never, ever, ever forget, because it was a total surprise, total shock. And Michael Days called us over to...
Michael's the editor.
Yeah, he's the editor of the paper. He called us over to the computer at 3 o'clock when the Pulitzers are announced. And we're thinking, why is he calling us over? It's to see the New York Times one or Washington Post, because in years past, you got a heads up if you were even a finalist. And we got no word whatsoever, so we thought we hadn't won at all. And so then when he called us over, and you had to keep pressing the refresh button because everyone across the country was trying to see it, and then suddenly an editor across the room, it came across the wire that we won, and he said, yes, 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 and then we just erupted into craziness.
That was great. Now, one of the best parts of the film is when you go out, the two of you, on the street, right, to sort of recreate how they did this, how they actually came to report this story. Right. I thought the filmography on this was fantastic. The video of it.
Thank you.
Were you surprised at how hard it was to get this story for them?
I was surprised how hard they worked to get it, how much danger they put themselves in to go out and knock door to door on known drug dealers' doors to ask for information. And the two of them, these two women, they went their separate ways. There were so many hundreds of doors to knock on, with no regard for their own safety or they just had their blinders on, and this is the story, we're investigating it, and they just put their minds to it, and it was amazing.
Now, Barbara, did you get hurt in one of these stories?
Yes, a drug informant slapped me across the face and threatened to kill me.
Oh.
And threw my notebook across the room, which was the one thing I really cared about. So
you didn't care about getting hit in the face, but you don't want to lose that reporter's notebook.
I couldn't lose that notebook, so I had red cheeks, and I scurried across the room and got the notebook and called Wendy and told her that this person had hit me, but not to worry that I still had the notebook, but somehow I had left my pen. I was fixated on the pen, well, and I don't know why. But
well, it's interesting, Lenny. Your day job is not in film, right? And what do you do?
It's becoming more and more in film, but
you're
I'm a real estate investor.
And so you decided you want to make films that mean something to people?
Well, sure. I mean, I have to be interested, and if I'm interested, then I'll start working and researching, and if I maintain that engagement, then we'll take it to the next step.
Yeah, but when you see a story like Wendy and Barbara, and you see them in action, gets you excited, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, I am in awe of them. I wish I had the courage and the ability and the drive that they do.
Well, it's also interesting, Paul, that when you look at newspaper reporters, a lot of us in the TV side sort of are a little jealous because they have all this space to do it. Yet we have the pictures, and pictures are so powerful, and it's such a shame that local TV stations, and not just here but across the country, don't use that power of pictures to do the same kind of reporting.
Well, because you need more than the pictures, but which is part of it. Any television station that's gone into the internet space has the opportunity to do this kind of reporting if they choose to. You can't always take a camera in, but you can certainly do the fundamental work. I mean, Barbara and Wendy proved to me that great reporters are tone deaf to warning bells. They don't care about danger. They'll just, when the klaxon goes off, there are two kinds of reporters. There are reporters who run towards the danger and me. But, the fact is that television stations can make a commitment. We talk about ownership, and I want to say this for a second. It's really easy to beat on business people who go into this stuff because they don't have newsprint in their blood or video and their synapses, whatever. I had the good fortune to work for Group W Westinghouse Broadcasting, which some people claimed was a mom and pop TV group, but it was a giant industrial company that wanted to own 5 television stations and 7 radio stations. They pretty much invented news radio, and they guaranteed investigative reporting would happen at all 5 of their stations. A number of DuPont Columbia Awards were won by the Group W stations. And these were people who really didn't have any theatrical sense. They almost lost Mike Douglas because they didn't understand that you have to pay the host more than the piano player. But that was a company that wasn't made up of news people, but had the respect for what news can do, and they invested in it. That's what's missing in corporate ownership, I believe.
Now, when you think about this, and you work for a firm in Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
Center City Film and Video?
That's correct.
So are they part of this project, or are you just part of them?
Well, all the post-production work, all the graphics package, the shooting, all production was through Center City Film and Video.
Which is owned by the way, by a former broadcast journalist who knows a lot about this, Jordy Schwartz, and I'm sure was thrilled to be part of a project like this. In terms of getting this done, Black and White and Dead All Over was a dream of yours. Now it's reality. You just had a premiere a couple of weeks ago. Where was that?
Actually, last Saturday at the Newseum, which is a museum in Washington, D.C. that is strictly done for the purpose of showing what journalism is and has been in this country. And it's well financed, and it's a magnificent institution. I don't know if any of you have been there, but it may be one of the most interesting museums you'll ever see.
Now, what's the reaction so far?
Oh,
this is your first TV show on this, so...
Yeah, no, it was great. We couldn't have asked for anything better. I mean, it was packed.
Standing room only,
yeah,
really.
The panel kept going. They would have continued asking questions, but they were shutting the place down. We had to leave. I mean, people came up to us afterwards. Where can we see it? When can we see it? We show it at a Woman from American University.
Yeah.
You show it there. I mean,
good. Well, Wendy, I have a question for. Barbara, I have a question for you. You are interlocked in this, Wendy and Barbara.
Yeah,
and Wendy.
yeah, we were during this whole series.
The question I have for you is that now that the Inquirer and Daily News is under even newer ownership, it seems to me from reading the paper, and I could be wrong, that the paper is more independent and that it's really getting back to some of its early roots. Is that just my imagination sort of hoping that it works?
No, I don't think it's your imagination. I think that Michael Days, the editor, has told us that he wants great journalism, and so you pick and choose the stories that you go after. So if there's stories that are just run-of-the-mill but would take manpower, you may give up those if they're not like really great stories and going to be on page 50, and really put the effort and resources and people and reporters into uncovering corruption or picking stories that to investigate and get back on the street and do great journalism.
One of the things that shocked me, and we were at a forum together at Temple University a while back, and we did a show of hands on who in the audience wants to go into television news, and how many people raised their hands, and what was the big.
Well, sports was the big.
Everybody wanted to be in sports,
which is sort of a romantic notion. But I am a graduate of Temple's journalism program, though Temple may not want to know that. And every day at our television station, I deal with students who have an extraordinary passion to do the news. And their inspiration may not be Woodward and Bernstein. They may be a little removed from that, sadly. Okay. But they are deeply into it.
If there's an essence to this movie, it's one of the shots that just is my favorite. It has nothing to do with the original story, but it's a scene from the 1952 film called Deadline USA, and it tells you everything you know about the determination of American reporters, starring Humphrey Bogart. Take a look at this.
Lay off of me. Don't print that story. What's that supposed to be? An order? Listen to me. Print that story, you're a dead man. That noise, what's that racket? That's the press, baby. The press. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing.
You can't stop the press when it's doing its job responsibly. Well, we thank our guest here today. The name of the movie is Black and White and Dead All Over. It's going to be a big hit in our area. Make sure you can see it when it comes out. You'll get plenty of information about that from the producers and the filmmakers. Lenny, Chris, Barbara, Paul, thank you for joining us. This is a very important movie. Very important. Good night.